Chairman and full members of the National Assembly.
Next, Patrick Akpoti-Uduaghan. Thank you.
Distinguished.
Thank you very much. You are now named Chairman and member of the National Assembly Service.
Do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance, solidarity, well-being, and prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That I will exercise.
Press, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. First of all, and very specifically, I had the honor to present to the Federal Executive Council today a memo seeking the ratification of approval of the membership of Nigeria to the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank as a non-regional member. Clearly, it's an Asia headquartered bank with the key members from Asia, but they do have members from other regions, and I think it was around 2021, Nigeria was invited to become a member, and we completed that formal, legal, and administrative process, including payment for the shares. We've concluded that process now, and we are fully fledged members of the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, of course, which is set up to promote infrastructure development and generally sustained economic growth in all its members. More broadly today, His Excellency, Mr. President, did, as usual, express continued determination and commitment to the ongoing macroeconomic reforms, which, as he rightly said, have shown signs, very, very encouraging signs of the economy turning the corner. And in objective terms, and yes, we are just back from the World Bank IMF spring meetings in Washington, D.C. And during the course of those meetings, the affirmation that Nigeria is on the right track came even before from Fitch, which, as you know, moved the credit rating of Nigeria from B- to B, with a positive outlook. Secondly, the Article 4 consultations, which is a statutory consultation with the IMF and its member countries, also expressed the fact that it is the resilience that has been created by the macroeconomic reforms that stabilize the economy that have allowed us to cope with the recent introduction of reciprocal tariffs in America and the turbulence that has caused. And likewise, also at the World Bank annual meetings themselves, many leading financiers, leaders, and even the multilateral institutions themselves expressed commendation and encouragement and support, which is critical because these institutions have the cheapest funds available in the world, the multilateral ones. They express support for the ongoing reforms, which is encouraging. And of course now the economy and the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is committed to going beyond stabilizing the economy to achieve rapid, sustained, inclusive growth that will help lift Nigerians in their millions out of poverty. Thank you.
Approved the rescoping of a project that is within Ondo State and Ekiti State, and approved that the fund available be used to do 15 kilometers of the 18.438 kilometer dualized. And so FEC had earlier on approved that we should be able to rescope all the inherited projects within the available funds. So we say that 15 kilometer is being rescoped for a contract sum of 19.407. And that is a rescoping stroke variation of dualization of Akure Eta, Oburu, Ijo, Ekiti border to Ikere Ado Ekiti, Section 1, and that is in Ekiti State and spanning to Ondo State. That was approved. And then the second approval came from the rescoping and variation of the Sokoto that goes to Zamfara, goes to Katsina and Kaduna. It's a total of 375 kilometers dualized, and we inherited, even though it was awarded at the twin light of the end of the last administration. And it was divided into 4 sections. The first section being done by SKCC, starting from Sokoto to Zamfara, being done on reinforced concrete. Second section is done in Zamfara axis and is being done by Setraco. And that's the section that was originally awarded. Its own section was 175 kilometer, and it was awarded for 105 billion. And so in line with FEC approval, we had to review the contract, but within the available funds in NMPs, which is 105 billion. So we rescoped it to 82.4 kilometer plus 6 bridges for the same contract sum of 105 billion. And we also have similar situation of a project that was awarded. It is Meduguri to Monguno Road in Borno State, and it was awarded on 3rd of July 2018, 105 kilometers for 21.729 kilometers. And in line with FEC directives, so we had to reduce the amount into 2 phases. Phase 1 is 30 kilometers, and that is for a contract sum of is 21 billion for 30 kilometers. The second phase is going to come as soon as this first section is completed, and then it will be brought before FEC. And so you also have 4 projects that are awarded by Federal Executive Council. The first one is in Ebonyi State, my home state, Abakaliki Afikpo flyover. It was awarded for 25 billion. There is second section, or another one within this lot, construction of Ikoga Road, Anatan, Akpoti-Uduaghan Road in Ogun State. And that is awarded for a contract sum of 37.045 billion. Then you have the rescoped section of Enugu-Onitsha Road, 77 kilometers, which is awarded for 150 billion. The ongoing Enugu-Onitsha Road, which partly is being done by MT and under tax credit. And lastly, under this is the Akure, the Bini-Shagamu Road. The record that we had taken off from the Shagamu exchange, and then we took off 12 kilometer by 2, 24 kilometer. So the remaining one is 48 kilometer by 2, that's 96 kilometer, and that's what has been awarded today for 187 billion for CBC. And then we have the 7th Axia Road. The 7th Axia Road was approved by the last administration to be funded by China Exim Bank. And when we were in China, Mr. President presented to the President of China 2 projects, the Akwanga, Jos, Bauchi, Gombe Road, and then this 7th Axia Road for funding of China Exim Bank. And so the project has been, is 50 kilometers, and with 5 kilometers of bridges over there. And it's an evacuation corridor. It takes us from the Lekki Deep Sea Port, evacuating the goods of Dangote, the Dangote refinery, Dangote fertilizer, and other goods of the Deep Sea Port. And it takes us straight to Ekpe, and it takes us straight to the Shagamore, which is exit to the 17 southern states and the other northern states within that axis. And so it's been approved for a total of $651.7 million US. And then the last time there was approval of Abai-Kote-Bene Road, and which I had mentioned here. So the memo was not circulated. Today it was circulated and they ratified for a total sum of 30.225 billion. That's phase 1. In the same category of ratification was the rehabilitation of Ebute Aero Outer Marina Shoreline, which has been, it was awarded 414 billion before, and to build world equipment plant company. And today it's been reviewed to a total sum of 176.495 billion, because we had a number of infrastructure along the coast that were being eroded, like the military base, the marine Navy base, we've been, eroded. And so it became an emergency situation. And of course, the last one was the Gombe, the rehabilitation of Cham Numan section of Gombe Yola Road in Adamawa State, which is been rescooped, into phases and awarded for the first phase 9.253 billion in favor of CGC. Let me also say, finally, that we have good news out of the Section 1 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, that Section 1, over 70% work has been done, and so 30 kilometers is going to be made available for Mr. President to commission, and another 10 kilometers is going to be made available for Section 2, and of course, Sekoto Bagadagri, we want to make available 10 kilometers completed on concrete at KB axis before the 25th of May. And I'm very, very happy and excited to announce that the loan component of that project was being reviewed by the Dutch Bank and the South Development Bank of Southern Africa. And they reviewed, all the bid documents. For them to give you money, you have to pass through, the eye of a needle. And they came up with a verdict that the procurement was excellent. In fact, they said that it was undervalued. They said also that to the Minister of Finance far away in America. And they said that to us, when we took them through the road. So I'm very happy in as much as I've run the figures within the local, forum, but we've been exposed to international, review, and are very, very satisfied with the content and character of that project. And so I feel that it's important that I let you know. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
Minister of Finance, Coordinating Minister of Economy gave a brief as to what occurred during the World Bank IMF spring meetings. I happen to also be part of the meetings, and I will say that the respect that His Excellency Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, has earned this country by his steady hands in the face of huge difficulties, I think is widely appreciated and has created a space for us as a country to navigate through whatever difficult circumstances that we have, and to double down and translate the dividends of those macro-fiscal reforms into tangibleness for the Nigerian people, which is the direction that the President has given us. In the health sector, today, Federal Executive Council considered two items that were relevant to health. One is on the national health security, which is a core pillar of the Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative. Last year, you recall, we had a massive cholera outbreak. Mr. President, in his wisdom, constituted a cabinet committee comprising 10 ministers across sectors to work together to control that outbreak. The cabinet committee submitted its report to the council in anticipation of the next cycle. Essentially, we've seen 18,700 people have been confirmed to have had diarrheal disease due to cholera in 2024, but 80% of them were in 9 states. And with the efforts that have been put in by federal government, by states, by National Center for Disease Control, we're able to bring that outbreak to a close. Of course, there were losses of lives, but we've learned some important lessons, including the need to continue sensitizing our population through states, local governments, to pay attention to open defecation, to clean water, basic sanitation, and position commodities so that when outbreaks such as cholera occur, which are likely to occur with the onset of rainy season, with flooding of water sources, we could see resurgence, because every year during the rainy season, that's when cholera really re-emerges. But if we are prepared, then we can be able to stem it and prevent losses of lives. So it's important that all state governments begin to prepare, improve their surveillance, pre-position commodities, train health workers, and for the federal government, we're doubling down. So learning from 2024, we're getting in 2025 with really a very clear eye in terms of what challenges may be based on what we experienced in last year. This is part of Nigeria's effort to strengthen its health security. when disease outbreaks occur, we have to rally quickly to test it, identify it, and control it, whether it's cholera, whether it's meningitis. So Council was able to look at the note coming out of that cabinet committee. The second element is to advance the effort to transform Nigeria's health system. The Federal Executive Council approved the contract to construct major infrastructural projects at the Federal Medical Center in Makurdi in Benue State, at the new permanent site, which is in Apir in Benue State. And that is infrastructural upgrade to make that transition from the Federal Medical Center in Makurdi itself to Apir. As you know, the federal government is investing heavily in the primary healthcare system alongside the states. But the secondary and tertiary facilities are also important. Secondary facilities are in the realm of the states, but tertiary facilities, federal medical centers, teaching hospitals are where we train health workers, provide high quality referral services. And revamping those infrastructures is so key to the health sector transformation that Mr. President has directed us to undertake. So this contract that was aboard is one more in that direction to revamp and strengthen the federal tertiary hospital infrastructure, in this case in Makurdi, Benue State. Those are the two elements that were considered by FEC today. Thank you.
Gentlemen of the media, my briefing is also going to be very short. At the Federal Executive Council meeting held today, this afternoon, two papers were presented regarding the national integrated policies for two of our critical sectors in Nigeria. That is the power sector and the marine and blue economy sector. The two policy documents were approved. This is the National Integrated Electricity Policy for Nigeria, was approved. And this is the National Policy on Marine and Blue Economy that was presented by the Honorable Minister for Marine and Blue Economy. The two papers were considered, discussed in details, and approved. For the National Integrated Policy on Power, is more like a comprehensive document, framework that is designed to transform Nigeria's electricity sector in alignment with national development objectives and international best practices. This is mandated by Section 3, subsection 3 of the revised Electricity Act of 2023. Even according to the Section 3 and subsection 1 of the revised Electricity Act 2023, it requires the federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Power, within 1 year from the commencement of the Act, to initiate the process for the preparation and publication in the Federal Government Gazette on Integrated National Policy on Electricity and the Strategic Implementation Plan. This basically addresses critical challenges in Nigeria's electricity sector through comprehensive framework for sector transformation, for clear guidelines for sustainable power generation, transmission, and distribution, as well as integration of renewable energy sources for power or energy diversification in line with climate change initiatives and the promotion of energy efficiency in enhancement of the sector governance. And the policy actually contains 8 chapters, which will be released to the media anyway. It addresses the historical perspective of Nigeria's electricity sector, the key features of the Electricity Act of 2023, Nigeria's electricity policy objectives, the electricity market design, both the national market and the sub-national market, as well as value chain analysis, stakeholders' roles and responsibilities, climate change and low carbon economy initiatives, gender equality and social inclusion, as well as the local content development, research and development, commercial, legal, and regulatory frameworks. before we presented this, or before we finalized, it involved a lot of extensive stakeholder consultations, which include state government entities due to decentralization as allowed by the Electricity Act of 2023, the civil society organizations, the academia, the captains of industry, donor partners, development institutions, most importantly, private sector participants, due to liberalization, also encouraged by the revised Electricity Act of 2023. It includes consumer advocacy groups and all that. So we also recommended a 5-yearly review of this policy to ensure the sustainability, continued relevance, and adaptability to the power sector. We believe this will facilitate the transformation initiatives, the bold ones that we have taken in the power sector, and very soon, epileptic power supply will be a thing of the past. That is for the power sector. And for the marine and blue economy, the policy was also designed with a robust implementation plan of 10 years between 2025 and 2034. It aims at harnessing Nigeria's vast marine resources to drive economic growth and ensure sustainable economic development. The objectives of the marine and blue economy in integrated policy is to, number one, foster the sustainable management of marine resources to ensure long-term viability, to enhance governance and establish robust regulatory frameworks to support the sector. It also seeks to strengthen public-private partnership, since that's the way to go, to attract and encourage private sector investors into our marine and blue economy, to encourage increased investments, and to promote capacity building and skills development to empower individuals. And lastly, to ensure that all maritime activities are resilient to climate change and promote environmental sustainability. So that policy, lastly, contains 8 chapters too, which includes the maritime trade and transportation, fisheries and aquaculture, marine resources and industries, energy and environmental sustainability, blue tourism and recreation, maritime governance, education and training with regards to capacity development for monitoring and evaluation, and lastly, the implementation strategies. These 2 policy documents were presented to FEC and they were duly approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security submitted a memorandum to FEC on the need to send a bill to the National Assembly for the establishment of the National Cocoa Management Board. As you all know, cocoa is the highest non-oil revenue contributor to the Nigerian GDP. However, we're still lagging behind in terms of our competitors next door, that is between Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana. And subsequently, we had meetings prior to what we have submitted with our sister countries on the need to harmonize and see how we can enhance the production, the processing, and also the marketing of cocoa, which is a very valuable agricultural resource. Part of the resolution that was reached was to copy what they had done in Cote d'Ivoire and also in Ghana, where they have established the National Cocoa Management Board. But prior to that, we in the ministry had established the Cocoa Management Committee to look into the viability of setting up that board. And we have done that, and we have submitted to FEC for approval so that the Attorney General would submit a bill to the National Assembly for the establishment of the National Cocoa Management Board. The board will consist of both private sector and government officials and subnationals as well. I believe representatives of subnationals will be the deputy governors, and also the Cocoa Research Institutes. We have one that is under the ministry to look into bringing up various varieties of cocoa, which will aid in production, processing, and trade. FEC graciously approved the memo, and we're going to submit the draft bill to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Thank you.
The Honorable Minister is not in a hurry. He will remain together with the Honorable Minister of Power.
The memorandum on ecological projects were approved. You may be aware that some of the dams were constructed as far back as 1974. So ecological remediation to sustain structural integrity and prevent flooding disasters is one of the reasons why these dams, the urgent need for the repairs of these dams. So today, 3 contracts were awarded. 1, the rehabilitation and expansion of Tiga Dam in Kano River Irrigation Project. This is awarded to Messrs. Masaki Limited at the cost of 11,838,674,155 Naira 77 kobo. The second one is the rehabilitation and expansion of irrigation scheme awarded to Rehabilitation and Expansion of Irrigation Scheme of the Shalagwa Gorge Dam. This is awarded to Pro-Wike Nigeria Limited at the cost of 7,469,055,900 Naira 87 kobo. While the last one is the rehabilitation of the Kafin Chiri Irrigation Project, which has been awarded at the cost of 7,400,000,000 Naira. The intervention by Mr. President is in line with the objectives of the Renewed Hope Agenda on food security and creation of wealth. This intervention will positively impact 30,000 farm families, 50,000 acres of arable agricultural land, and it would enable 3 annual farming cycles through irrigation, and this will also generate over 300,000 employment. So some of the works that are included are erosion control works, watershed management in 16 local governments of Kano Senatorial District, and ecological remediation and rehabilitation of the 3 dams that I've already mentioned. And also today, from the Ministry of Water Resources, Federal Ministry of Water Resources, contracts has been awarded for the repair of the Alao Dam in Maiduguri. You may recall that this dam caused the flooding in Maiduguri last year. So this contract has been awarded to prevent such occurrence this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. On what he calls the Renewed Hope Nigeria First policy, meaning that Nigeria is going to be at the center going forward of all business activities relating to this country. If there are any businesses to be done by anybody, the priority will be Nigerian first. If you have any local content, there is no reason for you to go outside this country to import. Now, this is in the form of an executive bill that will soon be issued by Mr. President. Already, Council has approved a set of those proposals, which I'm going to read to you, and the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation has been directed to prepare an executive order to be issued by Mr. President. Now, this seeks to foster a new business culture that will be bold, confident, but also very, very Nigerian. And it aims at making government to invest in our people and our industries by changing how government spends money, how we procure, and how also we build our economy. Going forward, Nigerian industry will take precedence in all procurement processes. Where local supply falls short, contracts will be structured to build capacity domestically. Contractors will no longer serve as intermediaries sourcing foreign goods where local factories die idle. Take the example of the sugar industry, for example. We still have so much importation of sugar coming into this country, yet we have the Nigerian Sugar Council that was set up to look inward to see how sugar production can be produced for the benefit of Nigerians. So President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has proposed that we will no longer just sit there and allow importation to come into this country where there is the capacity for production of any of these commodities locally. Now, as I said, the President has proposed the following directives, and all of them have been approved by the Federal Executive Council. Number one, and this is to the Bureau of Public Procurement. The BPP has been immediately directed to revise and enforce procurement guidelines to prioritize locally made goods and homegrown solutions. It has also been directed to create what is called local content compliance framework for all government procurements. Number three, the BPP has also been directed to maintain a register of high-quality Nigerian manufacturers and service providers regularly engaged by the federal government. Number four, the BPP has also been directed to deploy all procurement officers from the MDS. All the procurement officers posted to MDS will be reverted to the Bureau of Public Procurement as a line agency without jeopardizing possibility of efficiency. Now, to all ministries, departments, and agencies, the following decisions have been taken. Number one, no procurement of foreign goods or services already available locally shall proceed without justification and a written waiver from the BPP. I want to take that again. No procurement of foreign goods or services already available locally shall proceed without justification and a written waiver from BPP. Number two, where no viable local option exists, contracts must include provisions for technology transfer, local production, or skills development. By way of example, the provision of quota allocations under the Sugar Master Plan should take into consideration participants' backward integration plans and investment in Nigeria and ensure compliance with the Master Plan. This is a major decision taken by the Federal Executive Council today. Number three, there will also be, the MDS have also been directed to immediately conduct an audit of all procurement plans and submit revised versions in line with these directives. And number four, breaches will attract sanctions, including cancellation of procurement processes by such MDAs, and indeed disciplinary action against responsible officers. In this direction, like I mentioned earlier, the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation has been directed to prepare an executive order to give full legal effect to these resolutions of the Federal Executive Council. Now, what this seeks to do is to domesticate our processes. In other words, where there is the possibility of getting local manufacturers to supply any kind of goods or procure any kind of services, there will be no need for MDS to now procure these goods or services from outside this country. And where there is an exceptional need for these services to be procured from outside, there must be a waiver to be obtained, a written waiver to be obtained by the Bureau of Public Procurement. This is a major shift in government policy, aiming to put Nigeria at the heart of all businesses in this country. Thank you very much. I will now open the floor for maybe in an era of the growth of local industries, local enterprise, self-belief, self-pride, and then the national pride for us all as Nigerians to believe in ourselves and also enhance our own capacity to produce goods and services without recourse to going outside our shores. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. As we always say, let us please report responsibly, honestly, and patriotically in the interest of our country. Thank you very much.